So apparently, guys, we're actually in the wrong place. Dreams are made here. This is a stand for the National Lottery in my local Sainsbury's. And the odds are severely against you, by the way. It's a 1 in 14 million chance of winning. So good luck with that. But let me tell you a story about a boy born to immigrant parents in the inner city of Birmingham. Poverty all around him. Gun crime, drugs on his doorstep. His father had moved to the UK to work. He got a job at a local steel factory. He worked all the shifts he could to support 4 children. That boy was an average child at school. Teachers were like, yeah, he's okay. He managed to get into college, but then eventually dropped out twice. Today, that boy is going to share a big idea with you. That was me. At the age of 19, I picked up my rucksack. I got a single Virgin ticket to London, and I got myself a job in the digital sector. I was super excited. I thought I reignited the fire in my belly, a chance to make something of myself. 2 years into this job, I was loving it. Everybody enjoyed working with me. I learned new skills, expertise. And then pop, the bubble burst. The dot-com bubble had come. Hundreds of companies closed down. Thousands of people lost their jobs, including me. I felt like I was back at square one. So I thought hard. What did I learn over those 2 years in London? I built up an expertise. I learned about marketing, digital marketing. So I went out there and started contracting and freelancing with other companies. I hustled my way through to opportunities that I didn't see before me before. So I looked all over the UK, and I found opportunities in Leeds, in Manchester. And through this process, I learned something about myself. The good times are the good times, but the bad times, what happens during those times? I looked inside myself and I looked at what was driving me, and I always wanted to be successful. And I always looked at other people around me and thought, how are they successful? Eventually, I got back to London. I arrived in London again, and I decided to do the career thing. But whilst I was doing the career thing, I also had my side hustles. I was still doing side projects, I was still building internet companies, and failing, and learning. And I climbed my way up, and I eventually became the marketing director of a small, scrappy startup in northwest London. The strapline was, order takeaway online. Everyone said to me, Ash, are you mad? Who's going to order takeaway on the internet? Don't forget, guys, this was 2007, and the first iPhone was just being released. Anyhow, I sat down with my senior management team, and we thought to ourselves, we're going to make this company big, really big. So we thought, 100 million, that would be perfect. A 100 million pound company, wow, numbers beyond me. Then we said 400 million. Then we said 600 million. 3 years ago, the company floated on the stock market for 1.5 billion pounds. Can you imagine the face of my parents when they heard about this? Now, I'm an investor. I have multiple startups. I help entrepreneurs, hundreds of different entrepreneurs. But through this journey, I learned something and I discovered something. And I wondered if other successful people also had it. So I looked at Mark Zuckerberg, Warren Buffett, Evan Spiegel, the youngest billionaire and founder of Snapchat. I looked at pop stars, movie stars, sports stars. And they knew about this thing. They were very self-aware. I looked at people within my own network, successful people around me. They also knew about it. I call it the unfair advantage. This is something which you might have been given, acquired, or something you might have even forgotten about. Let's take a look at some real-life examples. So we have Mary, Jane, and Sarah here, talented fashion designers, all want to launch their own fashion brand. Mary has a self-help mindset. She's read all the books, and she's really motivated to launch this fashion brand. We have Jane, who has experience. Jane has this experience of working in a luxury brand. And then we have Sarah, who has now got a contact with a fashion editor in a magazine. Who do you think is most likely to succeed? You're probably thinking C, right? Well, actually, potentially it's all three of them. However, you are right. It is C, because that's what I call the unfair advantage. Let's take a look at another example. We all know somebody who wants to launch a billion dollar app. I get plenty of proposals across my desk for somebody who wants to launch this new app. So we have John and Abdul over here. John has been an accountant for the last 15 years of his life, but his mother has suffered from this disease, and the app is to help his mother. Then we have Abdul. Abdul here has 10 years of experience in the NHS. He's worked with patients with this specific disease. He understands the commercials, he understands how patients are dealt with, he knows the nuances around the NHS. If these two people were asking for funding, who do you think is most likely to receive it for their mobile app? Most likely B. However, you might be thinking that's unfair. What about John? My advice to John would be to partner with B, because then he is more likely to get the funding that he deserves. Because once you understand what your unfair advantage is, you know how to work towards your strength. So I spent hours of time with entrepreneurs and advising people, and I noticed something. A lot of people have excuses for not succeeding. In fact, they have miles of excuses for not succeeding. Miles of them. So I thought to myself, what do you guys need to help you understand what your unfair advantages are? So we created an auditing tool to allow you to do that, and it fit nicely into the Miles framework. Let's get started with this. So the first one, money. Look guys, I had no money. I had no money, so I was all in on my projects. In fact, having limited money forced me to become more creative and resourceful and become that growth hacker and become that lean startup guy, someone who can bootstrap and start companies. My disadvantage became my advantage. Intelligence. Ash, you're not smart enough, they used to say. IQ, the measurement of intelligence, can improve over your life. Neuroscientists have agreed that our brains are plastic. We have plasticity in our brains. We can improve our intelligence. But more importantly, when I looked at the successful people around me, I noticed something else. That's called emotional intelligence. The ability to understand other people's emotions, to work in a team. Those were the traits that most of these successful people had. And if you can't improve your intelligence, just hang around with smart people like I do. Location and luck. Everyone's heard of the phrase, being in the right place at the right time. If my father and mother didn't move to the UK, I could have been born in a village in Pakistan right now. If I didn't pick up my rucksack and move to London, I might not have been in the tech scene. Your location and movement makes a difference to success. But also luck, serendipity, meeting your life partner, bumping into the right person at that networking meeting. This is a part of the puzzle of success. If you really want to know how successful people have become successful, ask them, where were their lucky breaks in their life? Because that will give you a great insight into how luck is part of this puzzle of success. Education and expertise. I had no degree and no qualifications. In fact, I met a guy at an exhibition once, and he had a card, business card, and loads of letters after his name, falling off and truncating, literally. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. We didn't do business in the end because we didn't really get on, but interesting for me to know that somebody who believes they have education or degrees, they feel entitled to do business with you or entitled for a job. You have to go into this world and add value. Value comes not from your degrees, but from what you do for other people and for the world itself. And expertise. Over the time, when I built my expertise over the years in digital marketing, getting the know-how, learning about my skills, spending hours and hours on my passion, volunteering, working on projects that failed, and learning from those, built my expertise. Learn to fail, make mistakes, and your expertise will be built. And finally, status. It's the watch you wear, the car you have, the house you live in, the area you live in, the accent. It's even the shoes you wear. If you went for a job at an investment bank and you wore brown shoes, you are less likely to get that job, according to a BBC article. But you need to be aware of these challenges and aware of these realities of the world. You see, this framework is a very practical framework that you can apply. It's not one of those theoretical academic ones. It's something you can use to audit yourself, but also, more importantly, to empower you, because it gives you a lens to look at other people's success. So whatever your background, whatever your gender, whatever your race, you're all truly unique. Imagine your dreams, your goals, whether it's to write that novel, start that internet company, or land that dream job. Whatever your dreams are, ask yourself, what is your unfair advantage?